He became totally fed up with the New World Order and the establishment. He thought he was working for the betterment of mankind, and he found out that it could be and was actually anything but that.
The fallen leaves tell a story.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction.
Take the world.
Sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds.
Foul trespasser, send word far and wide.
The stars have aligned. A celebration of war.
The lands between are burning with those who cannot die. It makes for a cesspool of vengeance.
Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin?
So heaven is all about relationship. It's all about work, creativity. You express your creativity in work. I express my creativity in work. That's good.
I'm sad for myself.
Come on, guys. Are you really here just to make more money? Is that what you're here all about? Come on, guys. Think. Think. There's got to be more to life than just positioning yourself to make more money. Nothing wrong with money. But there's got to be more to your life and your work than just making money. You gotta enjoy serving people, producing a product to help people. That is good. Work is a gift from God.
I'm sorry.
What was that?
I've been double-crossed by the devil.
Are the fires of hell a-glowing? Is the grisly reaper mowing? Yes! The danger must be growing, for the rowers keep on rowing!
The interesting thing about this country is they talk about how we have freedom of choice. You know, we have freedom of choice. Yeah. Very limited. If it's an important thing, limited choice. 2 political parties, essentially, 2. Big media companies, 5, 6.
Max.
Yeah. Oil companies down to 3 now, I think, overall, 3 or 4. Banks, the big brokerage houses, the big accounting firms, all the things that are important reduced in choice. Newspapers in a city, how many? Used to be 3, 4, now it's 1 or 2 that are owned by the same people, and they also own a radio station and a TV station. But jelly beans, 32 flavors. Ice cream, all the things that don't matter. The unimportant things, a lot of choices. And you know what I say? You know what your freedom of choice is in America? Paper or plastic. That's it, man. It comes down to paper or plastic, cash or charge, aisle or window, smoking or non-smoking, Coke or Pepsi. These are your choices. Everything else is kind of laid out for you. You get to do what they really want. They do what they want. The ones who own this country, they do what they want.
But the saddest part of this entire fucking thing is that the United States government just looked its people square in the fucking face, right in the eyeballs, and said, your voice doesn't matter, and it never fucking did.
You have a good one.
Want an escape? Watch closely.
Any plans for this evening?
No.
Perhaps a game night?
We're just gonna stay in, just the 2 of us. Boring.
I see. I do hope you keep me in mind for any future game nights.
Well, you bet.
I've always enjoyed the camaraderie of good friends, competing in games of chance and skill.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that, but it's nice just 2 of us.
3 bags of Tostito scoops, I notice.
There was a special on these tonight. 3 for 1.
3 for 1?
Yep.
How can that be profitable for Frito-Lay?
These corporations, I don't know what they're doing.
Oh, you two enjoy each other. It's often we don't appreciate what we have until it's gone.
I think that's it.
Okay, bye-bye.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated.
Who the fuck is that?
Who gives a fucking shit?
Hello? Hello?
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is that, sir?
I'm looking for recycle.
Could you put that up my ass, maybe?
What?
Can you fit that up my ass, maybe?
What do you mean?
This whole thing up my ass, like.
I'm joking. Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. Under the influence of alcohol or drunk.
Yes, if it is to be said.
I'm sorry.
Not that I'm aware of, Senator.
If it is to be said, so it is.
No. Mustn't do that. Forbidden fruit.
Martin, empty your pockets!
What?
I saw you in the bathroom, man!
I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right, that if that was the case, that would be disqualifying.
God, sorry, I...
If you want to stop me, you're gonna have to fucking kill me!
I would try to be funny, and then the audience would sometimes laugh. And that was really helpful because...
It's just a catastrophe in Southern California. Obviously, there have been horrific fires in many places. This is literally where I live.
Ooh.
Everything. The market I shop in, the schools my kids go to.
When I look at you, I see a devil.
Friends, many friends now have lost their home.
As opposed to now, where I'll try to be funny, like
more than 100,000 people fleeing for their lives, abandoning their cars when they could go no further.
And then
the cars caught fire.
You see what I'm saying?
I've been having kind of a tough day, so I thought I would just try to cheer myself up by being a little bit silly.
Fucking fuck. I've created a monster, cause nobody wants to see Marshall no more. They want shady, I'm chopped liver. Well, if you want shady, this is what I'll give you. A little bit of weed mixed with some hard liquor, some vodka that'll jumpstart my heart quicker than a shock when I get shocked at the hospital by the doctor when I'm not cooperating. When I'm rocking the table while he's operating. Hey! You waited this long to stop debating, cause I'm back, I'm on the rag and ovulating. I know that you got a job, Miss Cheney, but your husband's heart problem's complicating. So the FCC won't let me be, or let me be me, so let me see. They try to shut me down on MTV, but it feels so empty without me. So come on and dip, come on your lips, fuck that, come on your lips, and some on your tits, and get ready, cause this shit's about to get heavy. I just settled all my lawsuits, fuck you, Debbie. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. I said this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me.
Who are you? Who am I? Am I Chet Hanks, Chester Marlon Hanks, my name? Am I Tom Hanks' son? Am I an actor? A rapper? A fucking fitness influencer? A dude who does Jamaican accents for no fucking reason? Are you your memories? Are you a bad bitch? Are you your body? Your BBO? Are you your car? Your house? Your money? Your job? From now on, I just want to be known as the entity, or the entity known as Chet Hanks. And we're all the same entity. Any label we put after that is finite, when in fact we're all in an infinite field of consciousness experiencing itself. And all is one. I am that I am.
And remember, suicide.
Do you want to kill yourself? He asks. And the question sounds unreal, because you never hear anyone ever asking that question in real life. I don't want you to do that, he says. I can't let you do that.
They're not getting the most views. I was convinced, like, and I think most people were like, oh, Oscar-winning movies and shorts and everything will be YouTube videos in 8 years. It has not happened. And the reason it hasn't happened is because, like, it just sucks. I mean, go on YouTube and look at like a majority of user-generated content. It is god-awful. I know there's some really good stuff, and I know there are probably a lot of people doing good work. They're not getting the most views. The most popular people are, you want to talk about like translated mediums and derivative stuff. It's just like kids talking about other pop culture. It's the Tonight Show posting their own clips on it. This was supposed to be like the medium that bypassed all the corporations and bypassed all this stuff, and it isn't. We lost the internet. I stand by that the internet it had a chance to be like the people's medium, and we lost.
You can't tell me.
They will tell you that it can't be done. They'll tell you all the reasons, and they'll line them up, and they'll try to discourage you from doing anything different than you're doing. So here's the key. Keep your goals confidential. Keep goals confidential. Don't discuss your goals with anybody, except that the great majority of people are threatened by anybody who has a goal. They're worried. It makes them feel inferior and inadequate because they don't have goals of their own. So only discuss your goals with people who also have goals of their own. Discuss them with the people close to you whose help you need to accomplish them, but just don't discuss your goals with people at random, and don't give them a chance to shoot the goals down. Now, the fourth reason why people don't set goals. This is the top of the list. This is the worst of all. It's our old friend, our old enemy, if you like, fear of failure. The fear of failure is the #1 reason why people fail in adult life. The fear of failure, the fear that I can't. I might lose my money. I might lose my time. I might lose my investment. I can't. It causes us to become tense and stressed. It causes our heart to pound and our stomach to churn.
It's just money. It's made up. Pieces of paper with pictures on it so we don't have to kill each other just to get something to eat. It's not wrong, and it's certainly no different today than it's ever been. 1637, 1797, 1819, 37, 57, 92, 97, 2000, and whatever we want to call this. It's all just the same thing over and over. We can't help ourselves. We just react. And we make a lot of money if we get it right. And we get left by the side of the road if we get it wrong. And there have always been, and there always will be, the same percentage of winners and losers, happy fucks and sad sacks, fat cats and starving dogs in this world.
What the fuck did I do to you, man?
Why are you throwing trash at me?
It's not trash.
Yes, it is.
It's all clean, brand new stuff that you can wear. It's all brand new.
A Tottenham sweater. A Tottenham sweater. Really? What am I, a fucking loser?
You know what? You're fucking rude, man. I'm trying to help you out.
I'd rather freeze my dick off than be seen in that.
I'm having sort of a hard time figuring out if you're like a good guy or a bad guy. Like when I hear you talk, I can't tell if you're exactly like a good guy or a bad guy, or like sometimes you seem like a pretty nice guy, and then sometimes you seem like a mean guy, and I wonder maybe you could like just tell me if you're like a good guy or a bad guy.
I expose people to magic. I expose them to something they're never otherwise going to see in their boring, normal lives. And I gave that to them. I may forget about them tomorrow, but they'll live with that memory for the rest of their lives. And that's a gift, man.
Great question to ask yourself is, what do you want to stop doing?
What's that got to do with me?
What would you say is the possibility of life arising by random chance?
0. And in case you didn't hear me clearly, 0, nil, zip, nada. You can calculate the possibility, the probability of even forming a simple protein of a couple of hundred amino acids, and it's 1 in 1 followed by hundreds of zeros. That is mathematically impossible. The chances of complex molecules arising by chance from simple molecules in a natural environment is 0.
You believe in evolution, but we don't have any proof for it.
We have mountains and mountains.
That's like believing in Santa Claus.
So I'm actually a biologist, and I specialize in studying evolutionary biology and bioanthropology. That's what I do for a living. So, like, I'm not.
Are you afraid that we might discover that our past has been reshapen, perverted, and perhaps what we think we know of this world is false information?
We have mountains and mountains of proof and mountains of evidence for these things.
I don't know as much about cosmology as cosmologists or astrophysicists, but I can still refute the Big Bang Theory.
In order to make that claim, you would need to at least know the basics.
But certain clubs would like us to think that a truth, I say truth, uncovered should stay hidden.
I belong to no club, and if you're unwilling to allow any discussion...
No, this isn't a discussion, it's a grilling. There's nothing I can do for you if your mind has been made up. You seem to know the answers to your questions. Why do you ask?
I'm sorry you're unwilling to defend your beliefs in any kind of rational...
Oh, if you already know the answers to your questions, then why ask? Pig fuck!
The greatest proof, I think, against evolution is if you just look at...
They tell the kids in first grade, Earth has changed much since its formation 4.5 billion years ago. Now just hold on a minute. Is the Earth 4.5 billion years old? No, as we'll see in a minute. But if you tell that to a first grader, he's going to believe you. First graders believe everything you tell them. They believe bananas are moldy spider legs. I did. And then tell them again in second grade, since its formation 4.5 billion years ago, Earth has changed. Down at the bottom it says, life too has evolved on Earth. This word evolved is a very tricky word. I've done over 90 debates and about 7,000 radio and TV call-in talk shows, and I've learned how to win the debate on evolution in the first 5 minutes. It is so easy. If somebody says, do you believe in evolution? I say, well, what do you mean? Well, you know, evolution. Oh, which one are you talking about? There are 6 meanings to the word. Are you talking about cosmic evolution, the origin of time, space, matter? I don't believe in that. With the Big Bang, we'll talk about that in a minute. Are we talking about chemical evolution? Because according to the Big Bang Theory, the Big Bang, you know, produced hydrogen and maybe some helium. Well, then how did we get all these other elements? You want me to believe uranium evolved from hydrogen? They'll say, well, yeah, fusion. You have fusion in stars. Yeah, but you can't fuse past iron very well. Number 2, you got a chicken and an egg problem here because you have to have the stars to make the elements and the elements to make the stars. Which one came first? Which brings up, of course, stellar evolution. How did the stars form? You know, nobody's ever seen a star form. Scientists don't even have a clue how a star could form. No even good theories about star formation. We cover more on that on video 7. But we see stars blow up all the time. It's called a nova or a supernova if it's a big one. That happens all the time. But we never see one form. And yet there's enough stars out there that we know about that everybody on planet Earth, every single individual, can personally own 11 trillion stars to yourself. Those are the ones we know about. We don't know about the ones that we don't know about. Fourthly, there's going to have to be organic evolution. Life has to get started from non-living material. Nobody has a clue how that could happen. Then we're going to have what's called macroevolution. That's where an animal changes to a different kind of animal. Did you know nobody has ever seen a dog produce a non-dog? Never. You may get a big dog or a little dog, but you're going to get a dog every time. And it could be that the dog, the wolf, and the coyote had a common ancestor. I wouldn't argue about that. They probably did. But every 5-year-old kid knows they're the same kind of animal. I'll show you. Is anybody in here 5 or 6? Who's 5 or 6 years old? Anybody? We got one? Okay. How old are you, buddy? 6? I want you to take a test. Here we have a dog, a wolf, a coyote, and a banana. Which one is different than the rest of them? The banana. Give him a hand. All right. Very good. We have college professors can't figure that out. Okay. The Bible says the animals are going to bring forth after their kind. Now, Charlie Darwin wrote a book on the table down here called Origin of Species. See, a dog and a wolf are the same kind of animal, but they're different species. He fooled everybody by changing the word from kind to species. We'll get into more of that on video 4. Lastly, we have what is called microevolution. This is changes within the kinds. Now, that one happens. I'll go along with number 6. I think animals can produce a whole variety of offspring. You know, long hair, long-legged, short-legged. That happens. But the first 5 are purely religious. It's not science. We never observe any of those. So if you want to win the debate on evolution, simply define exactly what you're talking about. And you'll find all they ever give are examples of number 6, which there's no argument about it. It happens. But then they imply that that is somehow magically evidence for the other 5, and it is not. The teachers are taught, though, be sure to stress to the students that the earth is billions of years old. Make sure the kids believe this. Now, I happen to be a little old-fashioned. I think in science class we should be teaching science. Things we can observe and study and test and demonstrate. Things like the first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics tells us matter cannot be created or destroyed. Well, everything's made out of matter, so if matter cannot be created or destroyed, then how did the world get here? We're here, you know. So that leaves only 2 choices. Somebody made the world, or the world made itself. There's no other choice. Well, there are a few out there on the lunatic fringe who will tell you, we're not really here at all. We just think we're here. Okay, you can forget about those folks, all right? We're here. So either somebody made the world like the Bible says, God created it, or the world just made itself like the humanists believe. It just is self-existing and not created. Well, if the world just made itself, how could this happen? Boy, the devil thought about that for a long time, and finally one day he came up with the Big Bang Theory. How many of you have ever heard of the Big Bang Theory before? I was on the airplane years ago flying from Dallas to San Francisco, and I happened to sit right next to a professor from Berkeley, UCal Berkeley. I don't know if you folks in Knoxville have ever heard of Berkeley or not, but Berkeley is not a Bible college. So here I was on the airplane about that far away from this guy, and we started talking about creation and evolution. Everybody I sit by on the airplane wants to talk about that, so I talk about it with him. And he said he believed in evolution. I said, yes, sir, I figured that. You have to teach at Berkeley. I said, tell me, sir, if you believe in evolution, how did the world get here? He said, oh, it came from the Big Bang. I said, really? I'd like to hear about this. He said, you're a science teacher and you have never heard of the Big Bang? I said, oh, yes, sir, I've heard a lot about the Big Bang. And I believe in the Big Bang, but my Big Bang is a lot different than yours. I said, you tell me about your Big Bang, and then I'll tell you about my Big Bang. And so the professor took off on one of those answers that looked like it came straight from the textbook. He said, well, Mr. Hovind, I believe about 18 or 20 billion years ago. That's a long time. All the matter in the universe. That's a lot of stuff. By the way, the word universe comes from 2 Latin words, uni, which means single, and verse, which means a spoken sentence. Did you know we live in a single spoken sentence? God said, let there be. Now that'll preach, man. There's a sermon in there someplace right there, okay? And if your pastor can't find it, he ain't got no preach in him at all, okay? All the matter in the universe was concentrated into one very dense, very hot region that may have been much smaller than a period on this page. Say what? Everything in the universe squished into a dot smaller than a period on a page? Wow. That's one crowded dot. And heavy, too. Hey, and it ain't the first time it happened, boys and girls. This textbook says, someday after many billions of years, all the matter and energy will once again be packed into a small area, no larger than the period at the end of this sentence. Then another Big Bang will occur. It happens every 80 to 100 billion years. Can you believe they cut down a tree to print that? Where's Al Gore when you need him? That's what I want to know. Yeah. And why did you guys send Al Gore to Washington? You had him here, you know. But no, this textbook author was brilliant. I could not believe how smart this guy was. He said, boys and girls, nothing really means nothing. You have to be at least that smart to write a book. He said not only matter and energy would disappear, but also space and time. However, physicists theorized that from the state of nothingness, the universe began in a gigantic explosion. What? Yes, boys and girls, you see, one day nothing exploded. And here we are. We could spend 3 days talking about the Big Bang Theory. They used to say the thing that exploded was a few light years in diameter. Then they said, oh no, it's only 275 million miles. And they said, oh no, it's only 71 million miles. They keep getting it smaller, and now they're saying nothing exploded. Wow, Discover magazine here a couple years ago said, where did everything come from? Boys and girls, the universe burst into something from absolutely nothing. Zero, nada. As it got bigger, it became filled with even more stuff that came from absolutely nowhere. How is that possible? Ask Alan Guth. His theory will explain everything. Wow, I've got to meet this Alan Guth guy. Alan Guth said in Scientific American, the observable universe could have evolved from an infinitesimal region. In the Hebrew, that's a dot. He said it's then tempting to go one step further and speculate that the entire universe evolved from literally nothing. You see, boys and girls, we all came from a dot, and the dot came from nothing. And they call that science and put it in a science journal? I think I'd call that a fairy tale and put it in the garbage. I said, Professor, what happened to your dot? He said, well, over 20 billion years ago, all the dirt in the solar system was drawn into this little bitty tiny dot, and it was spinning. It spun faster and faster, and all of a sudden, it exploded, Big Bang. And the pieces that flew off became galaxies and sun, moon, stars, and here we are, you know, people, nothing but stardust. I said, sir, can I ask you a couple questions, please? He said, sure. What do you want to know? You know, we got a 3-hour flight sitting that far away from each other on the airplane, and I said, well, sir, I got a question. You said 20 billion years ago, all the dirt got together for the big squish and the big spin and the Big Bang. Where did all the dirt come from? You know, who made matter? He said, we don't know that for sure. I said, okay, now, sir, hold it. If I told you that I believe about 6,000 years ago, God created the heaven and the earth, then you're going to say, and where did God come from? And I have no idea. But you said 20 billion years ago there was a Big Bang, and you don't know where the dirt came from. So basically, I believe in the beginning God, and you believe in the beginning dirt. Don't tell me my theory is religious and your theory is scientific. No. They're both religious. The news media tries to make it look like it is science versus religion. No, it's not. It's not science versus religion. This is two religions. Evolution and creation are both religious. You have to believe in one or the other. The difference is the evolution religion is tax-supported. That's the difference. One of many differences. By the way, these two timelines, it's the same thing right here behind me. On the top timeline, every inch represents 150 years. Abe Lincoln was not even president 1 inch ago. Okay? If I was to show you what 20 billion years looks like at the same scale as the top chart, I'd have to have this chart on the bottom to be this scale. This one would have to be 2,100 miles long. That's from Pensacola to Portland, Oregon. I don't want to carry a chart that big, so I made a new scale for the other one. Okay. The professor said he did not know where the matter came from. I said, well, sir, could you tell me where the laws came from? This universe is run by laws. I said, sir, why are these things going backwards? He said, I don't know. Why do you think they're going backwards? I was hoping he was going to ask that. I said, sir, it's real simple. You see, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and God did it that way on purpose just to make the Big Bang Theory look stupid. Yes, amen.
If evolution is real, and if there is this constant, I don't know, but it's visible. Like you can measure it in certain animals.
You can measure adaptation.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that in fact, I think we've kind of given up on the idea of evolution. The theory of evolution as articulated by Darwin is like kind of not true. Right?
In what sense?
Well, in the most basic sense, the idea that, you know, all life emerged from a single cell organism and over time, and there would be a fossil record of that, and there's not. And
there's not a fossil record of transitionary species, like species that are adapting to its environment.
There's tons of record of adaptation, and you see it in your own life. I mean, I have a lot of dogs. I see adaptation in dogs, you know, through the...
Sure.
Through litter to litter. But no, there's no evidence at all that, zero, that, you know, people evolve seamlessly from a single cell amoeba. No, there's not. There's no chain in the fossil record of that at all. And that's why you don't actually hear people, you hear them make reference to evolution, because the theory of adaptation is clearly, obviously true. But Darwin's theory's totally, that's why it's still a theory almost 200 years later, No, we have not found that at all. And I can't even guess. I mean, I have my own theories on it, but they're not proven.
What are your theories?
God created people, distinctly, and animals.
It's surprising but true that I would estimate that at least a third of professional biologists, academic biologists, think that Darwin's theory is inadequate. That it doesn't.
Stop. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Say that again.
About a third of non-intelligent design academic biologists are fed up with Darwin's theory.
Okay, that's huge to me. To hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yet, it's only talked about in professional journals and meetings. When the public media gets hold of it, it's all Darwin all the time, and it is presented as a united front, that science says that Darwin's theory is known to explain everything. But professional biologists know there's problems with it.
Well, even I remember Stephen Jay Gould at Harvard beginning to be honest about this kind of stuff, obviously before he died some years ago, but he was sort of a popular scientist and who wrote popular essays, but he was honest about that, wasn't he? That we have problems sort of in-house.
And he got into trouble for it too.
Even he got into trouble.
Even he, yeah, right.
Well, imagine the trouble you're going to get into.
Yeah.
And isn't it crazy that to this day the media has not really looked into any of these things or taken any of them seriously?
That would be disqualifying.
Yeah, that would be crazy. And remember, this is only for entertainment purposes.
God bless every one of you that is listening to me right now.
Less than 5% of plastic is recycled. So even when you put plastic in your recycle bin, the chances of it being recycled are so low, it usually just ends up in a different country, where it ends up in a river, or it's burned, ends up in the ocean. And to me, I think, it made me, upset. I was angry because I was paying for recycling and they were lying to my face saying we're recycling it. You can look up stories of people saying the recycling trucks go to the same area that the landfill trucks go to throw it in the same spot. And so I started to do research into what plastic was. I found it's made of fuel. So I was like, okay, well, how can we turn it back into fuel? So I found the process of pyrolysis. And at this point, I was around the 11th grade, so I was around 16 years old, and I was inside of a welding program in high school. And so being a part of that program in welding, you learn how to build with metal, how to put together metal. So when I found that there's a way to turn plastic into fuel, you have to build what's called a reactor, a pyrolysis reactor out of metal. And I was a welder, I knew how to build with metal. So I put together my first pyrolysis reactor in the 12th grade. I was 17 years old. It was around the size of a crock pot, like you could fit it on this table here. And I wanted to see if this is real. And it was real, turning the plastic into fuel. The machine worked. And so I started to continue to build more and more machines, and I started to innovate by utilizing microwaves with the machine, because my theory was if we can use microwaves to turn plastic into fuel, microwaves you see operate off of electricity, and electricity can come from nuclear, solar, wind, etc. We can take renewable energy to get rid of waste and then at the same time create fuels.
Fucking computer's bullshit. It's fucking sick. It's not cool anymore. It's not fun. It's not fun to be on the fucking computer. They changed everything about it. It used to be so cool.
Harikari tsunami, kamikaze banzai.
Yamaha, Nikon, Casio, Aiwa. Minolta, Hitachi, Seiko, Toshiba.
Buddha, shiitake kimono.
The muy guapo zone.
Oh.
The muy guapo zone.
Okay.
We're gonna get the handsome boys get shown. It's the muy guapo zone. Baby, the diamonds are shining. I just called the RBI.
but the entire sky is green and it is flashing. Something bad's going on.
What's going on?
I have no idea. It looks like a tornado or something is coming. And my power just flickered.
The power plant is going on.
Looks like the end of the world or something. Freaky. And now the sky turned black.
I haven't tried crack.
Why don't you go try some crack and then come back and judge me?
All right, thanks. All right, here goes nothing.
I'm going to have to start thinking about TikTok. I think we're going to have to start thinking.
Authenticity. If it's something that aligns with you as a person, your company's core values, do it. If it doesn't, don't do it, because that's when people are going to call it out as phony. That's when people are going to call it self-serving. If it's not something that you truly believe in, stay away from it. You know, maybe somebody in your company can head that if that's something that they believe in, but if it's not something that you're, you know, aligns with your values and things like that, people are going to know that it's not authentic, and they can tell real quick.
Offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
If you want to stop me, you're gonna have to
fuck yourself.
Sean Diddy Combs. His lawyers are claiming that videos of so-called freak-offs actually prove his innocence. Prosecutors received 9 videos of alleged sex parties. Combs' defense team says that the tapes only show private activities between consenting adults. The prosecution argues those same videos prove that Combs coerced, drugged, and kidnapped women into sexual activity.
I want you to know that you've been lied to. That you've been lied to. Your preachers have lied to you. Your parents have lied to you. Your friends have lied to you. Your experts have lied to you, except my experts. Your therapist has lied to you. Your psychiatrist, psychologist has lied to you. And you love and worship your misery.
You see what I'm saying?
The moon is hanging in the purple sky. The baby's sleeping while its mother sighs. Talking about the rich folks have the same jokes.
I thought it's just a bunch of fucking. I think it's what does a psyop mean? I always hear that.
Psychological operation.
Psychological warfare. It is words and ideas to influence the thoughts of the enemy soldier, not the body.
Open your eyes.
But the mind of the enemy. Perhaps its most rewarding form of expression is news. For news is ready-made propaganda. Propaganda. Propaganda.
News is ready-made propaganda.
Open your eyes.
Okay. I think it's a psyop by somebody. I think it's not.
You know.
This part of the big picture is psychological warfare. It is words and ideas, and carries on where the weapons have left off. On January 15, 1951, psychological warfare was established as a special staff agency. This move had far-reaching results. In civilian colleges and universities, long-range recruiting and educational programs were instituted. Laboratory experiments and research led to new and better psychological warfare. Reserve units were recalled, and several new units activated, and at Fort Riley, Kansas, a psychological warfare training school was established. Here, recruits with specialized backgrounds were taught the nature, methods, and techniques of propaganda and its dissemination. At the same time, plans were launched for the permanent training center, now located at Fort Bragg. Currently broadcasting in Japan and Korea are 32 radio stations. For about 4 hours every evening, the stations deliver propaganda that thrusts at the communists in North Korea with facts. Radio presents these facts in any number of ways. Perhaps its most rewarding form of expression is news. For news is ready-made propaganda, and to an enemy denied access to outside information, it's as welcome as food and water.
Stop. This is a checkpoint. Why not take a break?
Recognizing that the mainstream media behaves oftentimes in an evil fashion.
Yes, sad but true. That's why I'm here. To help you forget it.
Became this panacea for me. We're now 20 plus years into this new media revolution, and the difference is there is open media warfare. And this is a civil war based upon communication. My goal is to destroy the mainstream media.
However you do it, stay creative. Try something new every week. You never know.
I understand now. That which inspires us to our greatest good is also the cause of our greatest evil.
I'm starting to notice things I never saw before. Well, maybe I saw them. I just wasn't paying attention. For some reason, everything has become a metaphor.
Cool, great. The only problem I have with that is
we're in a dire situation right now because
people on Earth are gonna die. Think.
Over the next several days, there will be horrific images and videos that will emerge from the areas of the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. And alongside those horrific images and videos, there will be a ton of incredibly stupid conspiracy theories.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Let me explain. You've probably heard about this.
There's a conspiracy theory going around about the LA fires that they're saying that these fires are intentionally caused so they can burn the evidence of the Diddy tunnels.
I'm a piece of shit. Hey, the LA fire low-key looked like this just happened. Nah, that has no. my prayers and love towards everybody.
I can hear you. So the family with the poor little girl who was.
Fire happening right now.
Say that again?
Why is there a fire happening right now?
There are multiple fires that are taking place.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in the news though. You're supposed to know.
Well, I don't know how it started. We don't know how it started. There, you know,
I think
winds.
It's all the gay people in LA.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
We got the
unacceptable.
So you can't tell me that these fires are not acts of terrorism.
The warning signs were there. That's what I got to say. The warning signs were there. That's what I got to say, y'all. LA. I'm sorry.
We were warned long ago that a time would come when good would be considered evil and evil would be considered good. Well, let us be clear. We have reached that time. We are living in that age of which we are warned. That age where the world, the culture, the society around us calls that which is evil good and that which is good evil. We are there. We are those people. We are that generation living in that time. And however much this fallen society normalizes sin, those who are corrupted by these sins are separated from God if they remain unrepentant. It doesn't matter that society calls these things good. If we fall into these sins and remain unrepentant, we separate ourselves from God and we put our soul on the path to hell.
It's entirely up to you whether you choose to share it or not. If you don't wish to share that life, as apparently it's so disagreeable to you in every respect, why don't you just fuck off to back where you came from?
No, I'm not judging. I'm not I'm just saying. I don't. You want to talk about it? I mean, fuck. I like pills. I like drugs. I like getting money. I like strippers. I like to fuck. I like day drinking and day parties in Hollywood. I like doing Hollywood shit. Snorted Bollywood. What can I say? The shit works. It feels good. And my self-worth at an all-time low. And just when it couldn't get worse, my ex crashed my place and destroyed all I owned. Whoopsie, made a oopsie. 100,000.
There is what's known as the Order of the Trapezoid. The head of the Temple of Set in San Francisco is a member of the Order of Trapezoid. He's also a member of United States Army Intelligence, G2. So is his top 2 lieutenants in the Temple of Set. What is the Temple of Set? It's the Church of Satan. This is the Trinity. What does the Trinity represent? How things are created and brought into the world. It is reflected in religion as the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. In the mysteries, it is thought, desire, and action. Look at the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States of America. What do you see? You see a pyramid. What's a pyramid doing on a dollar bill for the United States of America? On the bottom course of the pyramid, there are Roman numerals. What are they? What does that mean? What does that say? 1776. Everybody says that's the birth of the Constitution. When was the Constitution born? 1789. This isn't the birth of the Constitution. 1776, what else was born? The Bavarian Illuminati. Everybody says, this stands for the birth of the Bavarian Illuminati. Weishaupt created the Illuminati. More bullshit. It's not true. The Illuminati has existed throughout the history of humanity. Wasn't born with Weishaupt. The mysteries are old. Freemasonry is old. Rosicrucianism is old. Ancient. These people have always been the ones who have guarded technology, who have guarded knowledge. It began when the first man picked up a branch, burning, and learned how to keep it alight. And he learned by hiding the method by which he maintained the fire, and by telling the common man that God dwelt within the fire, He could control all of the people in the realm that he could communicate to. And he became the first priest. The priests have seldom been kings, but the priests have always been the power behind the kings. Without the okay of the priests, the king cannot mount the throne. Weishaupt created a Bavarian order of the Illuminati and made it publicly known. That was a no-no. Wasn't supposed to happen. The modern form of the Illuminati and the birth of the Great Plan occurred in the year 1110. The Crusaders conquered the city of Jerusalem and crowned the king of Jerusalem. Find out who was the first king of Jerusalem crowned on the Temple Mount in 1110. Let's see what this really refers to. And we'll use the order of the trapezoids formula for enciphering and the New Age concept of the pyramid beneath the pyramid and as above, so below. So, what is a trapezoid? A trapezoid is a pyramid on top of a pyramid. And remember, it has various faces to it. Let's just plug this in. M, D, C. What have we got? What does it say across the top? MCX, what is that? 1110. I was right. What is their goal? Is their goal what I've been telling you it is all day? Well, let's find out. What are these people up to? What do they want to do? Remember I told you their goal was to destroy all existing governments, all existing religions, and shackle the mob. And how do you do that? What's DC? 600. What's LX? 60. What's VI? 6. Their goal is to seat the Antichrist upon the throne of the world.
You've said that the devil runs Hollywood.
I did say that.
Yes. You still believe it?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Didn't we just have Christmas?
Yes.
What were the films that premiered for Christmas? Name the titles you can think of now.
Carry On.
Right.
Which had a Christmas backdrop to it.
Right.
But I can't really think of any actual Christmas films.
Nicole Kidman's film came out. Baby Girl, I think it's called.
Okay, yeah, I missed that one.
Not a Christmas movie.
No.
It's not a Christmas movie.
No, you're not really seeing Christmas movies right now.
You're not really seeing... And then
there's
Nostradamus,
no Grinch,
what is that? Nostradamus, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't even say it, it's so evil. If you look at the marketing for the new Christmas vampire movie, Vlad, see where I'm going with this, guys? See the new Christmas vampire movie? If you look at the advertising for that, it doesn't say devil. It never says, it says, darkness. And, the principalities of darkness. And,
I don't need therapy. I just need a meaningful job that pays super well, deep love and personal fulfillment, a way to feel normal in social situations without a chemical buffer, all of my student debt paid off, a tight-knit friend group that actually lives in my city, a way to not feel guilty about every decision I've ever made.
All right, so let's talk about the Los Angeles fires and why they happened. Spoiler alert, the explanation is actually very simple. See, the most important thing that you gotta understand is Los Angeles is a very dry place.
We're going from neighborhood to neighborhood, cars completely charred, homes completely charred, this thick smoke everywhere blowing. We had to put on the goggles, and then every once in a while, you just hear a loud bang. It's almost like an explosion. You don't know really what it is or where it came from. And then all around you, you can kind of see just a glow. It's like at the end of a campfire, right? You're getting ready to be out of the fire, and then all of a sudden you just see a glow. That's kind of like what it is in the surrounding area here in Palisades.
Let's go. Just go!
The scenes are surreal, seemingly apropos for a major motion picture emanating from Hollywood, not blazing in its backyard.
Homes are burning everywhere. They're everywhere.
The ominous orange glow clouded by thick plumes of black smoke. Palisades, Eaton, Hearst, Lydia, and Woodley fires lighting up these western skies.
Oh, it's right there. Every right there is passing by. It's getting close down here.
The devastation engulfing entire neighborhoods, houses destroyed by the flames.
You're seeing everything around you get on fire, and you're just trying your best to water everything out. We're just watering our roofs, watering the neighbors' roofs. The neighbors are taking care of neighbors right now. You know, we're doing our best to keep each other safe here.
In Altadena, desperation is growing alongside the flames.
Eyes are red, crying, this is all fire, crying, like just everything, mixed emotions. Me and my family, we're just trying to protect our houses as much as we can. You know, our poor neighbors, their houses are gone. This house is everything to us. This is all we really have.
It's been called a bulletless war as these heroic first responders work tirelessly day and night, racing into the danger zone to battle the blistering blaze as residents attempt to flee.
Everything is on fire.
These dire scenes are playing out all across LA County. Overnight nurses in this convalescent assisted living facility doing whatever they can to get their residents to safety, filing residents out in wheelchairs and mobile beds, evacuating them before their home is reduced to ashes.
See everything outside our dimension as eternity. Eternity looking down on us. Now to us, this is fear. But to them,
and they say if we'll only...
Between 1896 and 1920, a small number of powerful industrialists, together with their private foundations, spent more money on mass force schooling than the government did. Indeed, Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller together spent more money than the government did on schooling. If you want to know the motives of this project, you need only read the first public mission statement of Rockefeller's General Education Board that was printed in its first report to well-wishers, issued in 1906. People yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. The present education conventions of intellectual and character education fade from their minds, and unhampered by tradition, we work our own will. We shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of learning or men of science. We have not to raise up from them authors, educators, poets, men of letters. We shall not search for artists, painters, musicians, lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, statesmen, of which we have an ample supply. The task is simple. We will organize children and teach them in a perfect way the things their fathers and mothers are doing in an imperfect way. The real purpose of modern schooling was announced by Edward Ross of the University of Wisconsin in the same year that was written. Ross is generally considered one of the three founders of the 20th century discipline called sociology. And in a book bluntly called Social Control, Ross wrote, I'll quote directly, "Plans are underway to replace family, church, and community with propaganda, education, and mass media. People," he informed his readers, "are only little plastic lumps of dough." Another insider of modern schooling, H.H. Goddard, chairman of the psychology department at Princeton, called government schooling in 1920, quote, "the perfect organization of the hive." Goddard wrote that standardized testing was to cause the lower classes to confront their biological inferiority, sort of like wearing a dunce cap.
best evidence that the nation has been schooled to the point of extinction. Now we have, and I don't think it surprised anybody, that George Bush, the most recent one, was a C average in high school, prep school, and a C average at Yale. What does surprise people is that the candidate he ran against was a C average in prep school and a C average at Yale and a lower C average than George Bush's, the Kerry of Massachusetts. And they were fraternity brothers at Yale. There's 308 million of us. I mean, mathematically, I wouldn't know how to set the odds, but they would be stupendous. No one mentioned it, or if they did, it was to quickly get over that. That should have been headlines with the New York Times and the Washington Post. Fraternity brothers at Yale run for president. You wouldn't need to mention that it was the Skull and Bones fraternity. How could that happen unless, what there's a Jewish expression, chutzpah, unless this feeling of contempt for ordinary people was very dramatic. I'm sure someone in the councils who allowed that to happen said, maybe someone will notice. When the skew from sanity is that of that magnitude, you should not expect much to come from the watchdogs of our liberty and our best interests.
And there is no doubt that these things are secretly financed by the secret power group to put into the subconscious of the American people the fact that aliens are real, that they're here. Whether they are or not doesn't make any difference. The power group wants us to know that they're real and they're here, so that they can bring about this new world order, so that we can face this with no panic.
You know, it's very disillusioning to think about that we have organizations like the CIA, Secret Service, and FBI and things like that, which may not be working in our behalf.
I can guarantee you they're not. They're working for the secret world power structure toward a new world order, a one world government. They're actually working to destroy the sovereignty of the United States, to destroy the Constitution so that this new world order can come about. The intelligence community has never worked for the American citizen. It was created to serve the secret structure. That's why the laws governing it are set up so that nobody can look into what they're doing. Do you realize that the National Security Agency, by executive order of the President of the United States, is not subject to any laws of this country or any state in this country? And the executive order states, it says that the National Security Agency is not and will not be subject to any law unless it is specifically stated in the law that the National Security Agency is subject to that law.
So all these people who are in this organization, if they do something, a minor infraction, they can't be touched? Like
that's right.
Immunity for some diplomat?
They can do anything they want. They're completely outside the law by executive order. Now, an executive order is a law written by the President which violates the Constitution, which says that there shall be separations between the branches of government and that Congress is responsible for the legislation.
So they're setting these people up as little tiny mini demigods?
That's exactly what they're doing, yeah.
My God, that's a nice place to live.
It's almost as if they all attended the same school of thought and studied under the same professor.
Some people would say this revolution is characterized by the fight of robots against human beings. And we will win this fight.
Professor Klaus Schwab was born in 1938 in Ravensburg, Germany, where Nazi crimes against humanity were committed. His father, Eugene Wilhelm Schwab, was the managing director of Escher Weiss Ravensburg, a company that used slave labor to manufacture weapons of war for the Third Reich. While Klaus's father was at the helm, the Nazi Party awarded Escher Weiss Ravensburg the title of National Socialist Model Company. Years later, Klaus Schwab joined the board of directors at Escher Weiss Ravensburg, where he played a key role in the development of South Africa's nuclear weapons program during the darkest years of the racist apartheid regime. Today, Klaus Schwab is the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum.
If you'd like to meet the people who are supposed to repair the state of the world, or give a piece of your mind to the bankers who helped get us into this mess, we can tell you where to find a lot of them. The World Economic Forum.
Founded in 1971, the World Economic Forum is an international private organization which receives billions of tax-free dollars from its members and their global enterprises. Every year, the WEF brings together its members with world leaders, big pharma executives, tech titans, Hollywood celebrities, media personalities, and internet influencers to meet in the secluded mountains of Davos, Switzerland.
We have with us today Dr. H.D. Odom. And Dr. Odom, we're delighted to welcome you. Do you think it's true that if you look at the problem of energy from the point of view of the entire Earth, that the economic issue of the future, perhaps the primary economic issue, is going to be the increasing shortage of available energy?
Well, I think there's a shortage of this stored energy, and we are pulsing it and bring it down, and then we'll come back to running on a steady pattern of renewable energy. So I'm not at all gloomy. I think it's a beautiful thing to look forward to, leading the way down. We call it the green way down. But it does mean if you want the same standard of living, we're going to have to cut our population in the U.S., for example, certainly to 1/4. We have so many wasteful things, that won't be hard. And I think the U.S. Can do a great job leading the world, but not leading them up, leading them down.
You say it won't be hard to cut the population by 1/4?
I think there are all sorts of ways in which the great system operates, and as long as energy is expanding in the world, the population system keeps expanding with it. It doesn't really start to respond to turn down it until the energy's turned down, and it does so through various mechanisms. So I think it will, through some places consciously, and in a few places because they get the message through local famines and whatever. I think it will turn. It just takes one generation to get the population down. If nobody bred for one generation.
Humanity can do anything because it can be reprogrammed.
They can implant memories in your head that you don't have. They could erase memories. They could control you in ways that you wouldn't even know you're being controlled. If somebody hacks into your head because it's connected to the internet, they can steal you. They could actually steal you. Scientists have done experiments with rats, and they have chips in the rat's brain. And what they did was they taught a rat how to do certain things. And when the rat did all these complex things, it could get food. It took the rat weeks to learn that. But then they hooked the rat's brain chip to the internet. And they had another rat in another city. And instantly they connected those two rats' brains. And do you know what happened? The other rat knew how to get the food right away. It didn't have to learn anything. The knowledge was transferred from one brain of a living animal to another brain. Imagine 10 years from now what they can do in humans. And we will go there. We will not only be able to transfer knowledge, but we will be able to transfer memories. We won't know the difference between our own memory and a memory we acquired from someone else. No longer will we and our consciousness be confined to our bodies as an individual. We will no longer be this isolated human being. We will be connected to everything. And human beings would never be alone. You as a human being right now are trapped in this body. But once you are connected to the internet, you are no longer trapped in your body. You can actually be anywhere at any time that any other person or any other device is getting sensory information. We will actually be able to feel the emotions of other people. You can actually not just transfer data and sensory information, but emotions. We will come to a point where we, as gods, will be creating our own reality.
Look, I think we're looking at a world where, and this is in the next film I'm going to do, I'm going to try and tackle this question. That there are big realms, spiritual realms. There's good, there's evil, and they are slugging it out for the souls of mankind. And my question is, why are we even important? Little old flawed humanity, why are we important in that process where the big realms are slugging it out over us? And I think there's bigger things at play here. And institutions that purport to touch on the divine are necessarily going to be affected by that slugfest that's going on between good and evil.
Right.
And
sometimes good gives up ground.
Yeah, and maybe not on purpose. You know, maybe there's some deception involved or self-deception.
Right. Co-opted.
Like every morning when I wake up, I actually pray that I don't deceive myself. You know, because it's like, you know, your mind is a very funny place. I mean, there's, I've always said, you know, it's your second thought and your first action that you're responsible for. Your first thought, throw it away, you know.
For all of those that want to save TikTok in America, vote for Trump.
And then, is everything okay?
Who would have thought? You know, we've all had a really big lesson.
What is it?
And that our experience of reality can change in a moment.
So smile! That's what we want tonight!
Later. Where I live is on fire right now. Literally, the entire city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, you know, I flew here last night. I was on the plane, started getting texts, and it's gnarly, you guys.
So much has already happened in the first half, and the acceptance speeches have been on fire. Who got shouted out the most? Let's look at the numbers. All right, cast and crew are leading the way with 11 mentions. Moms are holding strong with 3 shout-outs. God, creator of the universe, 0 mentions. No surprise in this godless town.
2 hours later.
Acceptance speeches have been on fire.
What the fuck? Oh, God! What the fuck is happening? What's happening? All right, everybody listen up. Who took my fucking cell phone, man?
If you have one piece of advice to give to the world, what would it be?
Probably to get into tech because
love is love.
What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
What is up to my haters who can't see the vision, and to the doctor that botched my circumcision?
You see what I'm saying?
All my life, I've been thinking a little bit about money.
the record companies are very satanic. When you come, it's like sharecropping, like your grandmother and grandfather on the plantation. You say, man, that's a hot song. I tell you what, I like it, and I'll front you for an album. So the record company puts up the money. You get in, they give you an advance, and they sign you, and you happy. You know, I just signed with Universal, or man, I signed with this one and that one. Yeah, right. But now they put up the money for the recording, for the advertising of your album, and they have their people in radio to play your music. Now, the advance that they give you, one of the first things you want to do is get some bling bling, so you can look like the other rappers who are very successful. The owner of the record company has a Jewish brother that's in the jewelry business. So he makes you a nice little bling bling, and you can buy a little car and ride in the neighborhood like a king. And then when it comes time to settle, how did I do? Well, I did pretty good, but they say I didn't bring in enough money on the album, so I owe them money. That's the same thing your great-grandmother did on the plantation.
Yeah.
Right? So now you got to go out on the road. They own the venues where you're playing. Oh man, it's such a game that is being played. Well, how do you fix it? Some things you have to destroy. Yeah, and then some might see, in order to escape being destroyed, I'll change.
I feel like I'm being stripped down and prepared for something else. Now that's maybe very personal, but I feel like the Almighty's preparing me to do something big.
Well, I have to say, when I heard that, I thought, I wonder if this is, or if you're regarding this as a spiritual preparation for the resurrection movie you're about to embark on.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it. It's like, hey, look, God gives, God takes. We come in with nothing. That's the same way we go out, you know. And here's the deal. You'll always be okay. If you seek first the kingdom of God, you'll always be okay. You'll get what you need. Look at the flowers of the field. Look at the birds of the air. They get fed. They get clothed. I mean, it's Matthew, I think. But that was one of my dad's favorite passages. He said, stop worrying about stuff, about money, about stuff. So, you know, that's, I think he put that in my head when I was very young, and it stayed, and I believe it, you know.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, we got my man Kanye. This motherfucker tracks, man, hold on. This nigga from Chi-Town.
Is there any limit to your ambition?
No.
Or any limit to what you think you can achieve?
No.
I'm playing with my wife because I just want to see your reaction. I want to hear all y'all reactions right here. Because let's talk about the accident.
It shouldn't be no way for me to lose, really.
Am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation.
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Kanye West is
Kanye West.
Kanye West. Kanye.
Kanye West. Last week, Kanye West.
Kanye.
Please welcome Kanye West.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen. Do it. Screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power.
You want to cut the time down?
What is this with everybody?
No.
What is it? Really?
only me. It's
Why?
my
I'm serious. Fucking A, man. It drives me nuts. Who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is?
Everybody in the world expects me to be something.
Just because you carry that shield, it doesn't mean you're Captain America.
Look, I've done the work, okay? I'm not trying to be Steve. I'm not trying to replace Steve. I'm just trying to be the best Captain America I can be. Being Cap is the first time I've had the chance to do something that actually feels right.
You already have 3 medals of honor. You consistently make the right decisions in the heat of battle.
I lived my life by your mandates. I dedicated my life to your mandates. I only ever did what you asked of me, what you told me to be and trained me to do, and I did it. And I did it well.
Things just got out of hand.
I don't care what happens to me. There's something awakening in my mind. I can't control it.
Nobody cares about my films. For example, what's...
Don't stop making weird shit. The world needs the weird shit you make. The world needs people who find joy in making it. Stay alive. Take care of each other. Make weird shit.
I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message to any surviving Autobots taking refuge among the stars.
What's up?
We are here.
What's up?
We are waiting.
No.